Good morning, students. Once again, we have come back to continue our lessons, and the topic that we have now is friction. Friction. The topic that we have now is friction. The subject that we are doing is science. We are doing science, and the topic is friction. But before that, let's go back to what we learned the other day. Last week we were learning how to calculate objects, the mass of objects on Earth to the weight of objects on the moon. How to calculate the mass of objects on Earth to the weight of objects on the moon. And then we said that if we have 1 kilogram mass of an object on Earth, on the moon it is 10 Newton, the weight of the object. If it's on the Earth, it's what? 5 kilogram. On the moon, it will be 50 Newtons. That's what we learned the other day. And then we calculated some of the things, the mass, some of the objects, mass on Earth to the weight of objects on the moon. So today we are coming to friction. We learned types of forces. We said we have frictional force, we have capillary force, magnetic force, tensional force. So today we are taking friction, the frictional force, friction. So we are going to learn friction today. And then when we look on the board, we have friction is the act whereby one surface or moving surface rubs against another surface. Friction is the act whereby one surface or a moving surface rubs against another surface. So we have places that friction used to occur, places that friction can occur. You know, when there is a moving surface, they come in contact and then they rub each other, like using my palm. When I'm rubbing my palm like this, if it is a machine, as you are rubbing, the surfaces are rubbing like this. A time will come, the surface cannot come in contact like the way it was when you bought the machine new. So you have to change the parts. That's what friction does. But when the thing is able to rub each other well, the machine works well. So here we have friction is the act whereby one surface or moving surface rub each other against another surface. Places friction can occur, places where friction can occur. So we have the one, brakes in cars, bicycles and heavy duty vehicles. Brakes in cars, bicycles and heavy duty vehicles. You know that in cars there are brakes. In bicycles we have brakes. Heavy duty cars like tipper truck, we have big cars that used to carry loads. They are the heavy duty vehicles. All those cars, they have brakes in it. And then there are parts that are moving parts that come in contact with another surface. And these moving parts, especially the brakes, when you the contact, the surface are not good, the contacts are not good, at times you apply brake and it will not function well, and then you can get problem. That's why it is good that people that are using cars, using bicycles and then heavy duty cars, often they check their brake to see whether the surfaces are okay, because as they are rubbing each other, sometimes they get worn out. and then if you didn't change it, sometimes you apply brake and it will not work. Now we go to the next one. Legs in shoes to the ground. Legs in shoes to the ground. We wear shoes, and when we wear shoes, the shoes, it is on the ground. So as you are moving, friction takes place. So sometimes we see our shoes that some parts have been worn out. So that's why when you see that it is too much, you have to buy new shoes, because friction takes place as you are walking, and then some part of your shoes will be worn out. Then we go to the next one. We have pulley on grinding machine. Pulley on grinding machine. We have grinding machine. That's machine that we use to grind cereals like what? Maize. We have rice. We have millet. We use certain machines to grind those cereals. Those cereal machines, they have pulley connected to the motor. That as the motor is turning, that pulley too will be turning, and then the machine will be able to grind. So if the pulley, as the pulley is always turning the machine, the time will come, some part of the pulley, that the tie on it will be worn out, and then you have to buy a new one to place the old one so that the machine can work well. Then we have pencil lead. Pencil lead. When you sharpen your pencil and then you are using it to write, as you are writing, friction is taking place. So a time will come that pencil tip will be worn out, so you have to sharpen it again. So that's how friction works when you are using pencil to write. Then the next one is what? Car tires on the road. Car tires on the road. We have so many cars in this world. As they are moving on the road, the tires are on the road, and then as they are moving, friction takes place. So the tire will be wearing out small, that it will come to a time that if you didn't change the tire, you can get problem, accident or something like that, because the time will come you apply brake, because the tire is what? Worn out. It cannot, the tire cannot make the car to stop at the right time, and then you can get a problem. Or when there is what? Rainfall, and then the road is slippery, and then you have tires like that, you can get problem. Now let's look at why friction a problem. Why friction a problem? Friction is a problem because it makes things wear out. Friction is a problem because it makes things wear out. Any machine that you are using, or anything that you are using that there is contact between your two surfaces, if you didn't change the parts at maybe regular intervals, or at a time that maybe they are worn out, it will give you problem. So always we change our shoes, we change car tires, we change machine parts because of what? Friction. So it is a problem because always it makes things to be worn out. Then how to reduce friction? How are you going to reduce friction? If let's say we have a machine and then we want to reduce friction, what we do is what? We apply lubricating oil. That's why at times people that are sewing clothes, people that are using grinding machines, they apply lubricating oil. They apply lubricating oil so that whenever the parts are moving, though it will be worn out, but it will not be too quick. It will not be too quick because it will be rubbing. You apply the lubricating oil, it will be worn out, but it will take time for it to what? To be worn out. That's why it is advisable that any machine that you are using, whether you are using car, you are using grinding machine, you are using sewing machine, or any machine that you are using, you have to get lubricating oil so that the moving parts, the parts that are rubbing each other, always you apply those lubricating oil there so that you will not get problem. Or even if you will buy the parts, it will not be fast that you buy today, maybe the next day you buy another one. So as you are applying the lubricating oil, it will take a long time for the part to be worn out. This is what friction does. Now we said friction. So friction is the act whereby one surface or moving surface rub against against another surface. Places where friction can occur, we have named some places that friction can occur: brakes in cars, bicycles and heavy-duty vehicles, legs and shoes to the ground, pulling on grinding machine, pencil lead, car tires on the road. And then friction is a problem because it makes things to be worn out. Always you have to change parts of machines, you have to change part of you have to change your